for Multan Sultans. Riley Russo yesterday, Usman Khan today. They seem to have all the stars at their disposal, delivering for them. And it's been a fantastic performance. Abbas Afridi in the mix again. He took 4 wickets in the previous game and a 5 for today. Also a hat-trick. All smiles then Multan Sultans as they head to Lahore with jubilation. Well, this pretty much tells you how it went for Multan Sultans. 262 for 3 in their 20 overs. Usman Khan with that 120 of just 43 balls. And in response, Quetta Gladiators, they did have contributions from Iftikhar, Kaptil, Yusuf, but in the end they fell short by 9 runs. Hello and welcome to Pitchside. What a performance by Multan Sultan. It was entertaining for the entire crowd and they have a new star. We talk about stars from Multan Sultans. We saw Ihsanullah. We've seen Riley Russo yesterday. But today it was all about Usman Khan and he joins us now in the studio here on Pitchside alongside Sanamir. Usman, thank you so much हमें join करने का. सबसे पहले तो आपको बहुत बहुत मुबारक हो. इतनी आपने परफॉर्मेंस दी, आपने रिकॉर्ड क्रिएट किया है HBL PSL की हिस्ट्री में. जिस तरह की आपने आज सेंचुरी मारी है, जितने बॉल्स में मारी है, तो थोड़ा सा अपने बारे में बताएं. यू नो, वेयर आर यू फ्रॉम? क्योंकि इतना हम जानते नहीं है, नए नए आप आए हैं. किस तरह आपका ये सफ़र स्टार्ट?
सबसे पहले तो मैं अल्लाह पाक का शुक्र अदा करूँगा. मैं शेखपुरा में पैदा हुआ तो सारी क्रिकेट शेखपुरा में खेला. तो फिर उसके बाद मैं शेखपुरा की क्रिकेट इतनी स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं थी जिसकी वजह से मुझे कराची शिफ्ट होना पड़ा. तो कराची काफ़ी देर क्रिकेट खेलता रहा लेकिन किसी भी जगह कोई सेटलमेंट नहीं हो रही थी. तो एकदम फिर आज़म भाई के क्लब में गए, आलमगीर में परफॉर्म किया. फिर PCC में गए और रमज़ान क्रिकेट काफ़ी होती थी तो रमज़ान क्रिकेट में परफॉर्म करता रहता था. तो उसके बाद फिर क्वेटा ग्लैडिएटर ने मुझे PSL 6 में मौका दिया खेलने का. मैंने डेब्यू मैच में 81 किया. तो उसके बाद फिर नेक्स्ट सीज़न मुझे किसी ने पिक नहीं किया. तो बस उसकी वजह से फिर ऐसे ही क्रिकेट का सफ़र चल रहा है.
अच्छा, ये बताएं कि आपकी इंस्पिरेशन कौन है बैटिंग में? इज एनीवन यू लुक अप टू, जिसको आपने देखते थे, यू आर ग्रोइंग अप एंड यू आर थिंकिंग दिस इज़ हु आई वांट टू बी लाइक?
काफ़ी प्लेयर हैं जिनको मैं देखता हूं लेकिन अभी इस टाइम पे जैसे हमारी टीम में रज़वान भाई हैं, वो एक दिमाग से और वैसे भी बहुत मजबूत हैं. तो मैं सब प्लेयरों को नोट करता रहता हूं. अभी भी PSL के 10 मैचेस हो गए हैं. पहला मैच मुझे खेलने का मौका मिला तो मेरी बैटिंग 6 नंबर पे आई. टीम की पोजीशन ऐसी थी तो उसकी वजह से एक बॉल फेस किया लेकिन फिर भी मैं ग्राउंड में लगा रहा, मेहनत करता रहा. मुझे आज़म हुसैन है, वो स्टिक बॉय है, वो इतनी प्रैक्टिस करवाई उसने मुझे कि मेरा दिल उसने लगा ही रखा. उसने बोला एक टाइम मौका आएगा तो तू परफॉर्म करेगा. तो मैं उसी अंदाज से खेलता रहा, प्रैक्टिस करता रहा. लेकिन 10 मैच में मुझे मौका मिला. बस मैंने रज़वान भाई से यही बात की थी. मैंने बोला थोड़ा सा टाइम मुझे लेना पड़ेगा. वो बोलते थे मैं तुम्हें जानता हूँ तू कैसे खेलता है लेकिन तू अपना नेचुरल गेम कर जो तेरा है. 7 बॉल 1 रन था लेकिन एक 4 लगा तो मेरा थोड़ा सा कॉन्फिडेंस आया. तो उसके बाद जो मेरी नेचुरल शॉट थी मैंने वो खेली और PSL की तेज़ 300 किया.
उस्मान, आपने बात की कि पहले आपको नीचे मौका मिला, फिर आज आपने ओपन पे इतनी ज़बरदस्त परफॉर्मेंस की, नए बॉल पे थोड़ा सा एक ओवर ध्यान किया. जो बेहतरीन पोजीशन है जो आपको खुद समझ आती है कि जो आप खेलना चाहते हैं T20 में, वो एज एन ओपनर ही है?
जैसे कि मैं आपको एक बात बताऊं, जो मुल्तान सुल्तान की टीम है ना, तो रज़वान भाई ने पहले दिन से हमें लोकल जितने भी हम प्लेयर हैं ना, हमें एक बात समझाई थी बैठ के कि हम लोग चैम्पियन की तरह खेलेंगे. तो मैं नहीं ये कह सकता कि टीम में कोई भी जगह पक्की है क्योंकि शान भाई हैं, वो मेरे से एक्सपीरियंस हैं, मेरे से अच्छे हैं, टॉप की क्रिकेट खेले हुए हैं. रज़वान भाई है, मेरी जगह नहीं बन सकी. लेकिन रज़वान भाई की बात लास्ट टाइम तक भी मेरे माइंड में थी. आज भी जब मैं बैटिंग करने आया हूँ मेरे माइंड में यही था कि जो टीम में खेलेगा वो टीम के लिए खेलेगा. तो इसमें 9th मैच अगर मैं बाहर बैठा हूँ तो उसमें कोई नहीं है क्योंकि जो टीम की ज़रूरत है और टीम की रिक्वायर्ड है, हैदर भाई हैं, एंडी भाई हैं, अजमल भाई हैं, जो उनको बेटर लगता था वो है. क्योंकि हम लोग पहले दिन से अपना एक माइंड बना के आए हैं कि हमने चैम्पियन की तरह खेलना और चैम्पियन बनना है.
चैम्पियन की तरह आप ज़रूर खेलें. 280 का स्ट्राइक रेट, किसी वक्त भी अपना गियर ऑफ नहीं किया. क्यों पहला मैच इस पिच पे खेल रहे हैं तो क्या सोचा था कि किस वक्त तक अटैक रखना है दूसरी टीम के ऊपर?
मेरा कैरियर का पिंडी में पहला मैच है. मैं आज तक पिंडी में नहीं खेला क्योंकि मुझे सिंध से मैं खेलता था सेकंड 11 से, तो फर्स्ट 11 में मौका नहीं मिलता था। पिछले सीज़न भी मैंने सिंध से 300 किए, एक T20 में 100 किया, तो खेलने का मौका नहीं मिलता था। लेकिन रज़वान भाई ने मुझे एक चीज़ ही बताई थी कि मैंने तुम्हें देखा हुआ है खेलते, हैदर भाई हैं, उन्होंने भी मुझे बोला था कि तू जैसे खेलता है तू किसी टाइम भी बड़ा ओवर लगा सकता है। बस फर्स्ट टाइम खेला, बॉल अच्छा आ रहा था, लेकिन जो मेरी शॉट थी वो मैंने रोकी नहीं है। रज़वान भाई मुझे बीच में कह भी रहे थे कि 100 हो रहा है, मैंने बोला रज़वान भाई जो मेरा स्टार्ट चल रहा है मैं इसी स्टार्ट में खेलूँगा, अगर 100 नसीब में होगा हो जाएगा, तो अगर नहीं होगा, क्योंकि 100 वाला 4 भी मैंने रिवर्स स्वीप पे मारा है।
बहुत ज़बरदस्त था, बड़ा स्टाइलिश 100 था आपका, बिल्कुल।
अच्छा, पेस प्रेफर करते हैं खेलना या स्पिनर्स को ज़्यादा प्रेफर करते हैं?
नहीं, मेरा माइंड ये होता है, मैं बॉलर को नहीं खेलता, बॉलर के दिमाग से खेलता हूँ, क्योंकि अगर एक जगह पे मैं शॉट मारता हूँ तो मैं दूसरी जगह पे अलग माइंड से खेलता हूँ। अगर तो आप बॉलर के दिमाग से खेलोगे फिर, क्योंकि अगर आप बोलते हो कि मैं मिड विकेट मार लूँ, पॉइंट के ऊपर से मार लूँ या कट मार लूँ, बॉलर इतनी जल्दी नहीं खाएगा। PSL की हिस्ट्री आपको पता है कि बॉलिंग बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग होती है, कोई भी बॉलर नॉर्मल नहीं है। तो मैं तो बॉलर को रीड करता हूँ जहाँ जो मेरा फेवरेट शॉट है, क्योंकि मैं जितनी भी क्रिकेट खेला हूँ, मैं T20 ज़्यादा क्रिकेट खेला हूँ, क्योंकि हम लोगों के टाइम पे या जैसे हमें मौका मिलता था कराची में या जिस जगह पे भी खेलने का, दुबई में मैं खेला हूँ, उधर भी T20 क्रिकेट ज़्यादा है, तो उस हिसाब से मैं खेलता हूँ। मैं ये नहीं समझता कि आगे कौन बॉलिंग कर रहा है या कुछ, बस।
Thank you so much, Usman, for your time and your thoughts. You seem to have a very clear mind and head and a level head above your shoulders. And yeah, we wish you all the best, Usman Khan. You heard it from him. He's created some records today, and he's got the fastest 100 in the history of the HPL PSL, which is why he features in our Master Blaster for today.
From ball one, he was on target. He picked up the gaps really well. 120 of 43. He punished all the bowlers, whether it was fast bowlers or spinners. Used his feet really well as well, and hit it down the ground on the reverse. Showed all his innovations, and what a celebration that was, and why not?
One of the things that we've spoken about in the HPL PSL this year has been the batting talent that we've seen so far at display. A lot of the times it's been all about the paces, but this year we've seen Saim Ayub and now seeing Usman Khan as well. I've been joined by Mark Butcher in the studio. Mark, you know, you've followed the HPL PSL over the years, you've been part of it, and it's often more about the pace bowlers. But this year, it's been a little bit about the batters as well.
Yeah, and that can only be a good thing for Pakistan cricket overall. It's also a terrific thing for the franchises in the HPL PSL, because it sort of broadens your scope for looking for overseas players to come over and play. In the past, it was always, where do we get the batters from? We need people like Jason Roy and Martin Guptill, etc. But if all of a sudden you've got excellent local batting, then you can be a little bit more proactive, a little bit more clever in terms of the players that you have to bring in from the outside. And I think it's wonderful. I think, you know, the pitches obviously help. The better the pitches are, the more confidence that the batters get. They can go out there and play their strokes. They may be just a little bit on the flat side for here in Pindi, but you know, generally speaking, the crowds have very much enjoyed it. And I've just really been impressed with the amount of talent coming through. It's taken a little while, but it's been worth waiting for.
Well, the real question though is this going to be a permanent replacement for Shan Masood for Multan Sultans? Because now they do have problems. You know, we've spoken about that Shan Masood and Rizwan combination at the top, but then you have somebody like him who's come in and scored the fastest 100 in the HPL PSL.
Well, you try leaving him out after that. You know, I mean, it's very unfortunate not to have won the Man of the Match award. But I'll sleep all right at night for having made that decision, simply because the pitches here have been so flat. We've been talking about batting as though people are going out there making runs in their sleep. So he just happened to be very unfortunate that he did it on the same day that Abbas Afridi managed to pick up 5 wickets and take a hat-trick. And if the bowlers deserved a little bit of something over the course of the time we've been here in Pindi, then that was it.
Well, we're talking about Pindi. It's been runs galore every single day here at this very venue. And today we've got more records for you in the Stat Attack. I think bowlers will not like bowling at this venue after reading these statistics here at the Pindi Ground. 2023, 515 runs have been scored, most ever in a T20 match. This is not just the HBL PSL we're talking about. This is overall in T20s, 515 runs, and that is by Multan Sultans against Quetta Gladiators. It's been entertaining for the fans. It's been a visual treat for them watching all these sixes and boundaries, but there's plenty more to discuss in detail after the short break. Multan Sultans is going to be a happy camp, but Quetta Gladiators, it's been yet another disappointing season for them. Pretty much like last year, they're unable to qualify for the playoffs, and there have been several reasons, Sana. I mean, you talk about Quetta Gladiators, and just in terms of overall, there were so many things lacking on their behalf. Do you think you could attribute that to the team that they formed at the draft, or what was it according to you?
I think it was a combination of both. The team they formed, they didn't have a lot of local talent that was really good. But the biggest thing for me, once they had the good picks, they were not consistent with the picks. So what happens is that the role definition for each player is not there. Martin Guptill scores a century after a couple of matches, he's out. Will Smith comes in, he's out. And then you see Umar Akmal, he has played some really good innings, and he's batting at number 6 and number 7. So he never got elevated. So there were so many things wrong. And then, of course, with injuries, Naseem Shah, Hasnain, they have been both in and out. So all these things, constant changes to the core of the team, will do this to any other team as well.
Yeah, lots of inconsistency in selection in terms of their team, but there's been a lot of consistency, a few changes here and there for Multan Sultans. But one guy who's brought a lot of joy to their faces is Abbas Afridi, and he's also our player of the match.
He's had a terrific tournament so far. He's now the leading wicket taker in the tournament, and he seems to be the only man who's unlocked the secret of taking wickets here in Pindi. He bowled a lot of those back of the hand slower balls, getting that little bit of extra kick and bounce, meaning that the ball hit high up on the bat. Batters were unable to control the strokes. Taking a hat-trick, taking 5 wickets on a pitch on which batters have been scoring runs for fun is a stunning performance. It really is, and that is why I named him player of the match. It was nothing against Usman Khan's performance, which was also stunning. Hopefully he'll have that record for a bit longer than Riley Rousseau managed to have, the fastest 100 that only lasted a day. But brilliant from Abbas. He's been superb all tournament.
Yeah, he's been the find of this tournament so far, because he's got 22 wickets, the most amount of wickets in the HBL PSL 8, and normally you're looking at express pace, and you've got that in the form of Ehsanullah, Shaheen Shah Afridi. But it's just nice to see that you've got somebody like Abbas Afridi, Sana, because he's not your conventional express bowler, but the kind of variations that he has and what he brings to the table, he's quite a special talent.
Of course, what Butch talk about, his variation, the back of the hand, slower delivery, the cutters to the left-handers, and what his action is so brilliant that when he's doing that, you cannot pick up the variation from his arm, because the arm speed remains same. And from his height, it's not easy to judge when the arm speed is so similar between the two balls, but the variation of the pace is quite different.
And another thing that was special for him today, apart from the fiver, is that he got a hat-trick. It's the first hat-trick of the HBL PSL Season 8, and it's also our switched-on moment of the day.
Yep, there'd only ever been 4 hat-tricks before today in the HBL PSL. And again, it was really fitting that it was Abbas Afridi that managed to pick it up. The final wicket was Umar Akmal, and celebrations.
He took 4 wickets in the last game, 5 in this one. You know, this season really has belonged to Abbas Afridi when it comes to the bowling, especially in these conditions, right? On that note, another breather, back in just a bit. Well, there were certain contributions from Quetta Gladiators to get to that total, but it was never ever going to be enough for them, considering the kind of bowling that we saw from Abbas Afridi, taking 5 wickets. Let's have a look at the fall of wickets of Quetta Gladiators.
First man to go was danger man Jason Roy, unable to repeat his heroics from a couple of nights ago. He fell to Anwar Ali, caught Kushtil for 6. Martin Guptill was next, 37 from just 14 deliveries, and yes, it's the archer, it's Anula that saw him off. First wicket of 5 then for Abbas Afridi, picking up Hafiz with one of those beautiful slower balls. Iftikhar was next to go. He made 53 from 31 until he was caught by the sub Shah Masood off the bowling of Abbas Afridi.
And he kept going. This was Ihsanullah once again. A really good catch in the deep. Wickets kept falling. Then Abbas Afridi again with the hat-trick. Mohammad Nawaz. The captain was gone. Karen Pollard. The safe hands. He has been having a great tournament in the field. And the back of the hand delivery once again, getting rid of Umaid Asif. Abbas Afridi with the wickets again. And this was the hat-trick ball. Omar Rakmul, the in-form batter, getting the wicket. Tim David on the wicket.
Such a skillful bowler, Abbas Afridi. You look at him and the kind of variations he brings, and he's got a 5 in his 4 overs. Ihsanullah chipping in with 2 wickets as well, and then you had Anwar Ali at the top with 1 wicket. Yeah, you look at Multan Sultans, and just with 1 change, Butch, just at the top, you're talking about Usman Khan, it just looks like a better side altogether.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Shah Masood is a very good player, but he struggled over the course of this HBL PSL to find any sort of rhythm, and obviously the scores are getting higher in the tournaments, pitches are getting better, so you need your strike rates to be high. Mohammad Rizwan has scored plenty of runs, and he will always do so at a decent lick, but because of the middle order firepower that Multan Sultans have got, you can really afford to have somebody else at the top of the order going completely nuts, somebody who's going to score at 150 and above. So that was a tiny little bit of a problem for Multan Sultans. Sometimes they were making 50, 60 partnerships, but it was taking them a very long time to get there. Suddenly you put Usman Khan in, and you're flying, so then when the likes of Karen Pollard and Tim David, etc., walk to the crease, they've got more overs, more time to bat, they've got more runs on the board, and the opposition is really sweating on what's going to come next.
Will this change though in Lahore, because you're talking about a completely different venue? Will the approach need to change from all the batters?
I think it depends on the pitches, what are the surfaces there, and with different teams you might have to go with different combinations, but it's very hard to leave out someone who can strike at 280 and has scored the fastest century in the history of HBL PSL.
I don't think they need to be safe. I mean, okay, in Lahore, setting targets was the way to go as opposed to chasing. Chasing has been the way to go here, so that might be something that you change. But again, I go back to the depth that Multan Sultan has in their batting lineup. You do not need to be careful in the first 6 overs. You need to go hell for leather, get your strikers in as early as you possibly can if you lose wickets, and make big totals that way. So I don't see any reason to change.
They've also got somebody like Osama Mir this season, Sana, because they've had a history of leg spinners. You know, you've seen somebody like Imran Tahir also play for Multan Sultan. Shahid Afridi was part of their setup as well. And Osama Mir seems like a much more evolved bowler in the HBL PSL.
Absolutely. I was talking to Andy Flower also, Mohammad Rizwan also, Haider Azhar. I think the whole unit as a unit the think tank, Mushtaq Ahmed, I think they really nurture the young talent. We see Shaheen Afreed, Shahnawaz Dhani in how he thrived in 2 seasons. And Osama Amir, you're very right about that. The moment he has come into Multan Sultans, he looked like a different player. The same happened with Mohammad Rizwan, the captain. Remember, he was in Karachi Kings before, never played a game, would get 1 game or whatever. But even if when they are resting people, they give them confidence. So
you're saying that the problem is with all the other franchises then?
No, what I'm saying is communication plays a huge role, and I do think that the communication in Multan Sultan has to be spot on. You can rest players can have a bad patch, but the way you tell them, the way you talk to them plays a huge role in their confidence whenever you need them back.
Well, we know that we love a bit of leg spin, but nothing quite beats raw pace, which is why Ihsanullah features in our fastest delivery of the day. Well, he's quick and he's pacey and he bowled at 148.2, and let's not forget that celebration. I've got to ask you about that celebration. I don't know what's going on there, but he's such a character. I was just, having a chat with him at the end of the game as well. There's innocence there because he's raw at this point of time, but he's got the skill and he's got that talent.
He does, and he learns fast as well. I mean, when we first saw him in the first couple of games up there in Multan, the pace was very raw. He was short pretty much all the time, very rarely brought the stumps into play. As we went through the matches in Multan, he started to knock stumps over. He started to hit batsmen on the foot with LBW shouts, all that kind of stuff. His fielding got better. In the first 2 or 3 games, I thought, oh my goodness, they might have to leave him out simply because they can't find anywhere to put him on the field. He's not Jonty Rhodes now, but he's got better over the very short period of time that he's been in the side. Andy Flower described him as naive. I think that's absolutely right. But one thing is for sure, he has all of the raw materials to go on and have a wonderful career. And the only thing you hope for these fast bowlers is that they don't get nasty back injuries and things that keep them out of the game for long periods of time. And that's always a danger with guys who bowl fast.
Does he need to develop other skills though, in terms of, we've seen raw pace with him, but does he need to add something to what he already has?
Of course, always. If you want to stay at the international circuit or you want to play at high level, you need to keep evolving as a player. Even as a bowler, you need to keep evolving. You need to have more variations because the opposition is going to read you. They are going to work on you. And then, of course, in today's T20 game, you need to have at least 2 skills. Either you need to be an excellent fielder and a very good bowler, or you need to be able to hit big sixes with your bowling. So I think the best players are the ones who have got all 3 things covered, but at least 2 skills you need to be top class.
And another skill that you do need to have is that you need to have some safe hands to be catching those difficult ones. We saw Kieron Pollard yesterday, and today it was Khushdil Shah getting rid of the danger man, Jason Roy. Well, it's always important to get this man out, and right at the top, getting somebody like him, we know what he's capable of. It was a low catch and it was taken wonderfully, cleanly in the end, and it's never easy getting behind those ones. All right, we're talking about Khushdil Shah. We're talking about the safe hands that we've seen in this tournament so far. Kieron Pollard took some wonderful catches yesterday, and I have to give him a mention because we talk about the strengths that Multan Sultan has. He is also somebody who is an added strength, because if he can catch like that in the deep, Sana, pretty incredible.
Yeah, it shows the commitment of the guy, the kind of runs he can make, and then the amount of effort he puts in the field, whether it's on the boundary, and then sometimes he add another dive for entertainment. But yes, he was brilliant with the catches at the boundary yesterday as well, and today he got a couple of catches there also.
But you reckon you could take those?
Not the high ones, no. I mean, he's twice the size of me. But he's got massive hands. He reads the game brilliantly, and he's always been put in the positions where the ball is going to go the most.
I'm just putting you on the spot.
Thanks.
There's nothing else. All right. All right. On that note, we'll take another break, and we'll be back just in a bit to hear from all the fans that have come to Pindi Cricket Ground. Rawalpindi has definitely not disappointed in terms of the crowd turnout. It's been magnificent, actually, supporting their respective teams and just coming out in huge numbers, creating that buzz that you need. And today was no different. Let's have a look at the ringside view.
सबसे ज़्यादा बेस्ट परफॉर्मेंस उस्मान की थी, सारी बात है। और हम जब सब बैठे हुए थे, एक्सपेक्ट नहीं कर सकते थे जिस तरह वो सिक्स लगाई जा रहा था और हम एंजॉय करी जा रहे थे।
उस्मान खान जो खेले उन्होंने कमाल की इनिंग्स खेली है। ये उनका पहला मैच था, प्रेशर गेम था। ही वाज एन इमर्जिंग प्लेयर और स्ट्रेट अवे आकर उन्होंने सेंचुरी स्कोर की। इसको वो अपने पूरे करियर में याद रखेंगे।
खास तौर पे आज आप सारों को पिंडी को दाद देनी चाहिए कि हाउस बिल्कुल फुल था और बहुत ज़्यादा हम लोगों ने एंजॉय किया।
स्पेशली जो बैटिंग देखने आए थे ना, वो रिजवान की और टिम डेविड की देखने आए थे।
सीरीज खेली है और मुझे निहायत खुशी है कि मुझे इसको सपोर्ट करने के लिए आए और उसने एक अच्छा स्कोर किया है और उस स्कोर को फिर रोके रखने के लिए बॉलर्स ने काफ़ी एफर्ट किया है।
Well, the HBL PSL is not just about numbers, it's not just about runs and wickets, it's also about that attitude on the field. Let's have a look at the Masalaydaar moments of the match.
We did had a contest going on between Nawaz and Rizwan didn't look happy, but as a bowler you have the option to stop, and then this is what Rizwan did to get back at him.
It's pretty childish, and it didn't work.
All right, they might be doing well on that other table, but Spirit of Cricket Award, Multan Sultans are right at the bottom. Peshawar Zalmi seem to have pleased everyone around them with their on-field behaviour. They are leading this table with 22.1 points. All right, so we've just only got one game tomorrow, which is going to be a day game. We've got pretty much set in terms of who the top four are. It really is about who has that top two spot secured, because then they get another bite for the final.
Yeah, absolutely. So Multan have done all that they can do to make sure that they are in position to finish in that top two. But of course, if Islamabad win their game tomorrow, then they will join Lahore Qalandars on 14 points, and it'll be them that face off against Lahore in that first playoff on Wednesday, the loser of which gets another go, as you say, Zainab, on Friday in the second eliminator. So Multan Sultans can't do any more. They're waiting for Islamabad United hopefully to slip up if you're a Multan fan, and then we will know exactly who sits where. But Zalmi, they're through. They've done exactly what they need to get a go at it, but they will have to play in the winner take all, or the win or go home match on Thursday in Lahore.
Well, tomorrow we've got two more games lined up for you. The last of this, regular season that we'll be able to see, and it's Islamabad United. Like we said, they have an incentive to finish in the top two, and they are up against Peshawar Zalmi in match 29. Well, that's the first match of the day, and then in the evening we'll be seeing the home side in action once again, Lahore Qalandars, and they are Kings who are out of the tournament, but these two teams are the arch rivals of the HBL PSL, and I'm sure it's going to be a good one. All right, gentlemen and ladies, I think it's time to head home. It's always nice to see you guys smile in this fashion. Thank you so much for your thoughts. And like we said, every day has been fascinating here in Pindi. We've really enjoyed bringing all the cricket coverage to you. We've had some fascinating games, some really high-scoring ones actually, but more importantly, lots and lots of entertainment for all the fans. Until here, from tomorrow, it's pretty much goodbye, but we'll leave you with some super moments of the day.
असां मिठे बोल बुलेंदे आ तां यारी तोड़ निभांदे आ साकू शौक दिल को जीतने दा असां यार दे जित मनांदे आ मेरे सोना पिछा हट मेरे सोना तक मेरे सोना तक मेरे सोना तक मेरे सोना मुल्तान आ गया
खेड वखावण आए हाँ मैदान च आओ ते साई मुल्तानी गेम में आए हैं डाढ़ा शोर मचाओ ते साई तक मेरे सोना तक मेरे सोना तक मेरे सोना पिछा हट मेरे सोना तक मेरे सोना तक मेरे सोना